All right. Awesome. So yeah, I'm very excited about this thing, this podcasting, endeavor. And it has the
Girl,
added benefit of not having to look nice. You're doing
girl,
it.
look, 'cause I'm racing to the station and I'm like, okay. Fortunately, we have a mirror like right before you go into the studio because it's Facebook Live, but we record in the studio. And
Yeah.
I'm like, some days I've been sleeping on. I'm just like, okay, I got eyeliner, lipstick. Okay, we're going. Just going for it. Just going for it. My hair together because it's short. It's like, okay, is it good? Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
My hands ashy. Do I need lotion? Do I look dry and cracked?
Right, you gotta be
Oh,
so
girl.
self-conscious now. Like, oh my God,
Yes.
you can see,
I
look, I
had
got paint on my fingers. I've been painting this morning.
Yeah. Well, I had one loan officer, bless his heart. I think it was like during the summer, and so the room was hot because there's a window behind us. But
Oh,
sometimes they have the air on. Sometimes it's like that wheezing kind of zzz in the background. So we had it off, and the poor man was sweat so much, and I was hoping they didn't close in on it. Because I mean, the man literally, it was like it was raining on his face. And he had a bald head, and so it was just raining everywhere. I was just like, oh my Lord, poor guy. So we managed to slide him a napkin, like surreptitious over to him. When like one of us was talking about myself and my co-host, like, just give him a tissue right now. Man's gonna drown in his own sweat. I was like waiting for it to just drip off his face until and sizzle there on
his
the
nose starts coming off.
Oh man, and he didn't really know what to do. He didn't know whether to wipe it or to like give that brother a tissue quick. Girl, I'm telling you the stuff that happens on the show. I actually sneezed on the air, and I was trying to make it glamorous. It's like, oh, excuse me, y'all. Let me get a tissue. And then I just kept on
live,
going.
right?
Yeah, just kept on going. Yes, Lord. Yes, yes.
But you know what? I think people appreciate the honesty of it. I really do. I've had people say, because see how I am now, I've got this like half of me is in sunlight and the other half isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody actually said to me, you should get a light, to make your whole face look like it's the same. But because you don't, it makes it look more real. I'm like, well, let's go with real then.
Let's go with real. Let's go with because I tell my audience that all the time. Because sometimes somebody's trying to show me something on the other side of the control room window. I said, hold on, y'all, they're showing me something. Wait a minute. And my team is like, oh my God, can you not just be subtle? I said, well, they could tell that I'm squinting at something and it's not them. So, let's just put it out there. And I'm really bad because I don't have so normally I wear my glasses, and I'm on the air, and this is fine for like talking.
Yeah.
And I usually use like the big index cards. Like these are the big ones. Yeah. These are the little ones. So I use the big ones and I write with a Sharpie so that I don't have to take my glasses off to read it.
Yeah.
I didn't need bifocals to 1 year. They gave me a prescription that messed up my eyes. I just felt like I could see fine until I went in and got those glasses. And then to read, it was like horrendous. And I'm nearsighted. I'm like, I can't read this now.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I have to read the small print, I always tell them, I say, excuse me, y'all know I don't have the bifocals yet. And I just take my glasses off. And then I go back and I talk to them. Then I eventually get the glasses back on my face. But it's just funny. But I'm really laid back on my show. They say, oh, you're such a natural. I'm like, thank you. Is there another noun after natural that you would use? Another adjective? I just want to be clear. How I'm supposed to take that,
Is it really a compliment?
Yeah. It's like, is it? I don't know. I'm not sure what that means. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes natural means like you're in a grocery store and they say this is a natural food product. You're like, I don't want that. I need the processed one. So I'm not
some
sure.
Sugar and some flavor.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're saying I need more refinement or like what are you? Not really sure. So I'm just gonna say thank you and Google it later. I don't know. See what you post on my page later. See if you say nice things.
Yeah, right.
I do stand up comedy on the side. on one of my sides. Not when I'm laying on my side, although I can't be funny when I'm laying on my side. Although I tell people that my show will be a lot funnier if I have a chair unless I have uncomfortable shoes. If I have uncomfortable shoes, you may get a 15, 20-minute show. If I have uncomfortable shoes, you got about 5 minutes show because my feet are hurting. I got to go. I'm sorry. See Sheila at the door for a refund because my feet hurt. When I first did it, I was telling all my friends about it. I said, come on, get your non-complimentary tickets. They was like, my what? I said, your non-complimentary tickets. Don't be at the door
You
telling.
paying for these tickets.
Yes, I'm gonna make you laugh for free for years. I saw that commercial about get your billions back, America. And I knew they wasn't coming from the IRS because I owe them. So somebody got my billions. It must be you people. So I need everybody show up with a couple of dollars and and pay. Don't be at the gate talking about I know Lisa. Everybody in the line know me. Okay, I know a lot of people. That's not gonna get you in. You're gonna need your money. So I do that when I have opportunity to do it, to fit it in, because it's just really just me being me. Because I do come, people say, well, have you performed at a lot of places? Oh yeah, thousands, crowds of thousands. Really? Where at? Well, I kind of do them one or two at a time, but over the years, I'm sure it's thousands. Yeah,
right. It's got to be by
Bill
now.
Collector's the cable guy, my doctor, my other doctor. So I said, in 2017, I said, okay, I'm going to do this. So, I started doing it. So I may perform more this year. If I can ever get my real estate schedule, my show schedule. I'm licensed in life insurance for Maryland and DC. If I can get all of that coordinated, yeah, I'll go on the road.
And in my spare time.
Yes. Whenever I find it. My clients always ask me, they're always concerned about my health. They say, Miss Lisa, are you sleeping? I said, in between your phone calls.
I'm sleeping right now, actually. I'm the walking sleeper.
Yes. Like I'm already sleep deprived. I never know how I get home. I just arrive there. I get behind the wheel. I show up at the house. It's amazing. But enough about me. I digress.
So how long have you been doing your video show? Your live?
We started in 2017 is when I started. And I really was not looking for that, because for me, I'm thinking I'm really not the infomercial kind of girl. I much rather talk about, other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know who's going to want to listen to me talk about real estate for an hour. I don't even want to listen to me talk about real estate. Enough real estate stuff to talk about for an hour. But, I'm a woman of faith. And so I had prayed about it. And I said, okay, God, this is what you want. I'm going to say yes to it. And, we'll just figure it out. So I went upstairs and we talked, in the studio. So I signed a little thing and said, okay, I'm going to do it. Then I was like, okay, now what's next? But what I envisioned, though, was a show that really focused on the audience, on what the audience was looking for, on the front end of the show. So our theme is opening the door with keys of independence. And so we look to educate, empower, and motivate our audience to action in whatever area of real estate that they're interested in. So that's what we do. And so that's our focus. So I interview lenders. We talk about grant programs, ways to finance. We talk about rehab financing. If you're having trouble finding something that's already done, how you can use that type of financing to get something that may not be gorgeous, as one of our lenders says, not the shiny penny, but something that you can make your own. We talk about things like, okay, let's say you don't want to be in a bidding war, which is kind of hard to avoid in certain areas.
Yeah.
You can look at new construction as a way to avoid that. So looking to present for first-time home buyers, we give insights about how the process works. We talk about contractors and home inspection, home warranties, some of the fears that buyers may have that will keep them from moving forward, as well as concerns that sellers have in terms of when they're going to list their property. So just as I continue to go forward, I saw that there was just a plethora of topics within the real estate industry, how you can be a building owner, commercial real estate. And we talk a lot about community on our show. We have a segment called Rescue Resources. And what we do there is different, like food pantries in our community. There's one young lady, she's doing shared housing for people that have had, economic downturns, but they need housing. So they have a room in the house, utilities included, while they're getting themselves together. She's partnering with other resources in the community to help them while they're there, resume writing, job placement, things like that. So we highlight what's going on in our community. Now, this year, we're broadening that to cover more economic development for areas. And of course, we have Amazon coming into the DC metro area, so everybody wants to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I have a lot of the real estate investors. Sherman Ragland's been on our show. He's nationally known, Bloomberg, Inc., 500. So a lot of the networks he's been on. And then a lot of the other local real estate heroes. I mean, they have great influence. Charles Blair's been on our show. Turnkey DMV has been on our show. So these are people that can give direct insight into the real estate investing piece for people, because I don't have to be the authority on everything. I have realtors that come on my show. We just did our last show, the show before this one, the last one. We celebrated women in real estate because it's Women's History Month. So, I complimented so many of the women that are in our area. We interviewed the 2019 Women's Council of Realtors president for the Northern Virginia metro area. And she's been on our show before. She's a great fair housing instructor, but just had her talk about what she felt like success was. So we have authors, we have realtors that have written books. We celebrate that. We have them come on and talk about the books. So we just want to we're local. We do talk about national trends, but we really just want to celebrate what's going on in our industry, put a face to realtors and real estate, because sometimes there's a lot of misconceptions about our industry, as you know. And so being able to kind of humanize our industry and provide good, valuable information, that's what we want to do.
Nice. Do you let your listeners give you suggestions?
Yes. Several topics have come about from that, and we always encourage them. My publicist, Reba Burst-Barnes, we've been friends for over 20 years. She's often co-hosts with me, and we always let them know if there's they have a product, if they have a service, they have a topic, give us a call and let us know, what your message is. We'll be happy to work with you to bring that out to the audience, because as long as you can value add to our audience, we're open to having you come on the show. It's no, we want to be as inclusive as possible. I always tell people when they come on, because sometimes they're a little nervous, like, it's not investigative reporting. We don't want to see your tax returns. We don't want to see your invoice records. We want you to come into a nice, warm environment and give you the opportunity to present who you are and what you have to an audience that is already ready to hear about you. And we just want you to feel comfortable and talk about, what it is that makes you special, what it is that you want the audience to know. So that's the kind of environment that we cultivate. And so we're not, we know our business can be competitive, but that's not what we cultivate in our culture for the show.
Yeah, nice. Have you always been in real estate? What's your history?
Oh, girl, no. If you'd have told me 20 years ago, I'm going to tell you the story. I recently showed a rental property to one of my clients. It's a higher level rental, nice big house. But about 12 years ago, I was the house cleaner for that house.
Oh my
because
God.
I had a cleaning business. And it's just so, God is just so interesting, because when they sent me the listing, I was like, wait a minute. I think that's, yeah. And I looked at the tax record. I was like, yes, that was my client. So I was actually able to describe, because it was one of those types of listings where they have a designated agent that can open it for you. Even as a realtor, you can't get access. And so they were curious. We had driven by and seen the outside, and they were curious about the interior. And I was able to describe the interior. Well, you have a step down, and then, yes, and you got this, and you got that. We knew they made upgrades from the pictures, but just telling them the alley of the house, it was just so amazing that a house that, I'm polishing wood furniture and, vacuuming and mopping, cleaning the bathrooms, the whole thing, that I am now in a position where I can go in and show that house to a prospective tenant. But I started out, I've done a lot of things in life, but I was working for a modular home builder, and I left there to really be a transaction coordinator for the current team lead that I have now. And I did that for 2 years, but I did a lot of customer support court, talking to the clients and explaining to them the process. So he was like, at this point, he's like, you need a license. So they sent me to class. They paid for my test. And we're still together. We're still a team, the senior team of Fairfax Realty Elite in Greenbelt, Maryland. But that's how I got my start, and I've been there ever since. I eventually evolved and graduated from just being behind the scenes to actually being out in the public with the clients.
Mm-hmm. You followed the path.
Yes. So I was chosen.
Sounds like it. It's ironic is that, I do more house cleaning as a real estate agent than I ever did before.
Oh my gosh. I know,
you get
right?
to the house, you're thinking, are you serious? Like, hold on.
We need to move this. Okay. No, we have people coming. No, this has to go.
You wear many hats as a real estate agent, right? I'm an interior decorator. I'm a cleaner. I'm a publicist.
Whatever it comes to. I tell people, I say, I'm the real estate counselor, because I'm up at night going, no, it's going to be all right. No, we just need the piece of paper in. No, I talked to the other agent. No, we're going to work it out. Okay, yes. Get a good night. Yes. Okay. Talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, it's true. Am I doing the right thing? Is this going to be
Yes.
Oh my God. You're like, 80% counselor, 20% transaction coordinator.
Girl, it's the truth. It's the truth. But it's really, as you know, many people in our industry get into the industry for different reasons. Some it's the art of the deal, others it's the cash flow, but for me it's really the people. That's really the cherry on top for me, is to be able to sit at the settlement table where I've helped a young mother or a young professional, a male or female, a family. I had one client, was a gentleman. He was single, but he had like 3 or 4 boys, and he would take them on the showings with us and show them what he was doing. So to be able to help make someone else's dream come true, that is just exciting. And the fact that you're able to serve them in that capacity and be diligent about what you do so they can trust you, because it's a very big purchase. It's an emotional purchase. And so to be in that position, I think it's an honor, and that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, it seems like talking to you, it's more of a calling for you than a profession.
Yeah, I think so. And it's something that I would have never envisioned myself doing, but doing it just feels like, yes, this is great. I love it,
You see how all the roads have led you there,
That's right.
and prepared you.
That's right. Exactly. Yes, ma'am.
Well, when I was watching your show the other day, I felt like you're trying to help people. One of your focuses is trying to help people to build wealth through real estate investing. So can you just tell me a little bit about how you when you first meet with people? I mean, do people come to you and say, yes, I want to be a real estate investor? Or do you meet with them? They come to you for some other reason? You say, you know what?
Sorry about that interruption. Yes, they do sometimes come to me with that. And, I talk to them about what their goals are in terms of what they know about real estate investing. Because, everybody's got HGTV now. So
they know everything.
Real estate investor. And so what I do, and I do this a lot, especially with the show, and just as an individual, I don't have to be the answer to your question, but I can connect you with someone that has the expertise to help you in a better at a better level than I can. So depending on what they want, if I have a seasoned investor and he just wants me to look at some properties for him or take him to see them, and he's telling me what his goals are, what he's looking for, want me to set up some searches for him, then we do that, or do some analysis of properties that he's considering. That's one avenue. But I have a lot of people that are new to the industry, and so I encourage them to go to their local real estate investing groups. Listen, hear what people, because you get a lot of information just by being in the room. Begin to make connections and start to learn about the business versus jumping right in and getting started. Because real estate investing can be a great way to kind of pad your retirement, because it's passive income. So, beyond owning your own home, owning that additional piece of property can give you some security. Should something happen with your job, should maybe there be health issues, you do have another source of income coming into your family. Another thing that people may not think about is that same investment property can do double duty if you or perhaps your young child, another family member, or friend that you'd like to help. That property can be a collateral for a business effort as well, while still providing that passive income. So it's generating income on its own, but it's also allowing you to perhaps expand or initiate a business idea that can also bring you money and allow you to purchase more property. So that investment can be a real cornerstone to get you solidly on the path for wealth building.
Do you get a lot of pushback from people who are like, "Oh, I can't, I don't know anything. I can't fix toilets at 2 a.m. It's just not my style."
Oh yeah, yeah. And what I tell them is there are all different types of property management options that can take you out of the equation. We did a segment last year on how you could be a building owner. And what we explained is you may not want someone knocking on your door. You may not be the one to want to collect the rent or handle a situation if the tenant doesn't pay the rent in your 4-unit building. But you can have a property management company where everything goes to them and all of the service calls go to them. You can have a home warranty where you've given the tenants the number to call and they call and set up the service call and they know what the cost is for the call. So you don't have to deal with that directly. So there are always ways to handle the uncomfortable aspects for you when you're looking at real estate investment, but that shouldn't hinder you from wanting to move forward if that's where your interest is.
Mm-hmm. And what about turnkey properties? And we talked about that when we earlier.
Yeah. Well, turnkey, and just for the audience that may not be aware of what a turnkey property is, that's when you buy an investment property that's already been rehabbed, already has a tenant in it, and is generating income at the time when you purchase it. And that's really an ideal purchase for a number of people that want to be in investing, but don't really know a lot yet. Wouldn't know how to price a project, wouldn't know if the person that's giving them the price on the project is telling them a good price or a bad price. So they're really new to the process, but they want to get into investing and they have some money set aside for that. You could purchase a property where all the rehab work has been done. So that takes out that concern of when am I going to have to replace this, when I'm going to have to replace that, because you know how you're getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you also have a tenant already in place, so you're not getting a property raw, having to fix it, then trying to find a tenant and having that lapse of time between the time you finish the work and the time you get the tenant in, or you're still paying maybe a mortgage on the property. When you get this property, you may have a mortgage if you financed it, but you also have income coming in right away. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes it turnkey, having that whole package there. And as you're learning how to manage your tenant, whichever avenue of property management you want to take, you can learn, but you still can make some money. Mm-hmm.
So do you recommend that people take over the management after they buy the property, or
I think it really depends on that person's individual style.
Mm-hmm.
And what their goals are, because some persons may purchase a turnkey property in another state. Like I have a client now that I'm working with that lives in New York, but is looking at the Maryland area, the Baltimore area, in terms of doing an investment. Now, he's not local, so for him, a turnkey property is perfect because he's not in a position. He's got operations he's running in New York, so he doesn't have the time to come down and manage a crew. Mm-hmm. Or manage a person that's managing a crew. So for him to pick up something that's already complete, already packaged, then he can move forward. That's fine for him. Now, someone that's local, they may feel like, I know a few little handyman things and, I can go by and fix it up. And I really want to, I want that one-on-one with the person that's renting the property. And I want to manage that process myself because I want to learn, what to do and what not to do. Then for them, the option may be to self-manage. And then in between those two sets, there's varying degrees of property management.
Yeah, you do some and they do some.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, I know one of the options for
It's okay. It's okay. My mouth does the same thing. I don't know. I think it's the radio waves, microwaves. Yes.
Yeah, it's got to be the microwaves. They're getting to my brain.
Yeah.
When you are looking for the money to start your real estate investing,
Yeah.
if one of the places you want to look is your 401k, you can do a turnkey property, but you can't be involved in the management at all.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah. That's how I understand it. And also, what you learn when you go to some of the real estate investment groups is how to have private money
mhm.
to go in. There may be a group of investors that each of them collectively might not have, I mean, individually might not have what it takes to do a full investment in a property. They don't want anything to do with, the rehab work, but they would like to get a return on their dollars. So collectively, though, this group would have the money that you need to do that. And so you would set up your agreements in place, and how the money would be distributed, when you would pay them, how many years they would get revenue, so that everybody's in agreement. So that's one way to find funds for your project. And so you say, well, how do I demonstrate to them that it's a worthwhile project? Again, that goes back to availing yourself of people that are already in real estate investing in your market, that know the market, that know the ropes, and get some training. Not everybody that's trying to train you is trying to rip you off. So take some time, really, because we do so many things and we say, well, I don't want to pay anybody. No, I watch TV. And also, and I'm not against people that come uh, in from outside of your local market with the different free, 2-day training, 1-day training. But before, I would tell anyone, uh, before you invest in someone that's coming in from outside of your local market, take a look at some of the jewels that you already have right in your own backyard. People that are in your market day in and day out, because laws vary
Mhm.
and whether or not you can approach someone that's in a pre-foreclosure state. In one state, you may be able to address them. In another state, there's a different process, and you need to know what that is. Someone coming from the outside may not know those things. They certainly don't know your neighborhoods the way someone that's working in your neighborhoods do. So, you just want to make sure that if you're going to make that investment into some training, that you're getting it from a source that knows your market and also can be there with you. I mean, you can't call Kansas and say, hey, my contractor didn't show up and there's a leak and this happened and that happened. What can they do? But if you've got someone local that's kind of walking you through the process, you can get, right on information. Okay, I've got another contractor. Call this guy, tell him I sent you, or, here's what you do for that. Here's the governmental agency you call about that. So what you need to do.
What do you think is the major stumbling block for people who are trying to get into real estate investing?
I'm sorry, I missed that last part you said. Can you say it to me one more time?
Yeah, what do you think is the major stumbling block for people who are trying to get into real estate investing?
I think maybe fear and lack of knowledge
Mhm.
about what's possible. I think those are two of the big issues with us, because when you don't know, that unknown is kind of fearful. And I think with the fear is what we imagine the obstacle is, because sometimes, because we don't know, that lack of knowledge is there, we create this big mental structure that we now have to cross to get there,
Right.
and it's really not that bad. Like NAR, the National Association of Realtors, did a survey a couple of years ago where they found that most buyers did not get into the market. Potential buyers didn't get into the market because of two misconceptions. One was that they had to have like over this astronomical credit score, like over 700 credit score. They needed at least 20% to put down. Neither of which things are true.
Yeah.
They may have been true. Well, the 700 has never been true, but in terms of the down payment, maybe at some point somewhere that was true, but it's just not true today. But because they had that misconception, they wouldn't move forward. And so I think the same thing happens in real estate investing. We really pump up the obstacles in our environment, and feel like we just can't do it, we can't move, and we don't know where to go for information. And so that kind of keeps us in place, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people who, even people in my own team, real estate agents, who have a situation, they seem to me to have all the tools they need, but they just are in analysis paralysis, right? They just like, oh, no, I got to do this. I got to look at this. Like, just do it. Jump in, you know?
And, and I can relate to that because, and a lot of it has to do too with what we already have in our mind when we go into, our different fields. Just like a lot of us don't go, unless we've come from a family that was already in real estate, don't necessarily pick real estate as our first course. And it isn't all, if it isn't taught to us in our home, about the power of real estate and the power of ownership and how to get access into those areas, we really don't know. And so we don't really learn it in school. And so whatever preconceived notions that we have about it, we still carry them with us. And even when we have, like you said, when we have the tools in front of us, we still feel like, well, no, I need something else. I don't think I have it, And so, I think there's a shift, a mind shift that has to take place. I said this on the show a couple of weeks ago, is that you actually become a homeowner before you become a homeowner. Because you start to visualize yourself being in a home, what that's going to look like, what that's going to feel like. That spurs you to start saving. That spurs you to start looking at, what would I like to have? And as you take that journey, you get closer and closer to becoming a homeowner because that vision dictates your actions. So I think it's the same thing for real estate investing. When you start to see yourself, I could own something. I could have a nice little place, and I could be an investor in my community by providing housing for someone else, and that could help my family. When you start to see that that's possible, then you start looking around and saying, well, how could I make that happen? Because I know other people do it. I think I could do it. So it starts there, I think, starting to see yourself as someone that could really do that, and the positive impact that you can have, then that will lead you toward the information that you need to fully cross over and take action. I think that mindset is a big piece.
Yeah, I agree 100%. What kind of what I've been trying to do in my business is when people come in to me for the first time talking about, gee, we want to buy a house, is that I start trying to get them to think about the idea of, instead of just buying a single family home, especially if they're handy or, if they have any sort of skill set that could make them good investors, they say, geez, instead of buying a single family, what if you bought a multifamily? What if you, got yourself right out of the gate involved in real estate investing? And I feel like a lot of people are open to it, but just as many are like, oh, no, there's no way I could do that. And I don't know. I mean, how do you broach the topic? I mean, how do you invite people into the dream of home, real estate investing?
Well, one of the things that I do, because we did a segment on it, we're going to do it again this year, is talking about how you can be a building owner. For residential, it's 4 units or less. And so we talk to them about how you can, even though you qualify for a single family home or a townhome, it's not a big leap for the lender to qualify you for 2 to 4 unit property, and that you can live in one. I mean, you're already in an apartment, so don't feel like you're confined. You can live in one and rent out the other ones, and depending on if you're getting owner occupancy financing, you have a certain period of time where, you need to be in there, but then you can look at shifting from that, refinancing it, then you can move out, and now you can rent the other one. Now you've got a fully functioning 4-unit building, because the lender is going to qualify you based on what you're going to be getting from the other rents and the portion that you're going to pay. And so that's how you get in there. And so it's not just, oh, I don't make enough. You actually do make enough. And in our area, in terms of real estate investing, there's even groups that are focused on multi-unit investing. That's their niche, and that's what they teach. It's like, okay, why buy a single family or a townhouse that you're going to buy in whole? We can put that same effort into getting a multi-unit, big multi-unit properties as well as small ones. And I've met a young man I know. He is under the age of 30. He's probably under the age of 28. And
Mm.
he is, and he is not an extrovert. He is an introvert, beautiful young man. I met him at Think Realty last year, and we've crossed paths many times since then because I've been to the meetup where he goes. And he didn't really necessarily see himself as doing that initially, but he was interested in real estate investing, and he took in the message that, okay, maybe I can buy a multi-unit. So now he's got a couple of purchases under his belt, and he's good to go. And so now he's developed that confidence. But a lot of what people also have to realize is more than just looking at a property and saying, yeah, I want that property. It's you have to do all of your homework up front, because the purchase has to make sense at the time of purchase, not, okay, it's going to make sense to me later after I do all this work, and then I'm going to sell it for this price, and then it's going to make sense to me. The numbers have to make sense at the time when you purchase it. And I can't emphasize it enough. When you sit in meetings where people go down line by line and show you these are the things that you need to look at. You need to make sure that your numbers are correct, because you don't want to buy. People say, well, I could pick up this house for $20,000 or $30,000 or $40,000, depending on the market where you're at. Okay, but what can you do with it after that? How are you going to get your money back out of that? And I think sometimes people don't know how that works. And that's why you have to go out and interact with other people. But you don't have to be a super salesperson. You don't have to change your personnel. You don't have to be like a three-ring circus guy, at the big top, with loud personality to make it in the business. You can be very quiet and very unassuming and still acquire wealth. It's not stuck with any personality type. It has to do with doing the process, taking the right steps, making the right decisions, understanding an opportunity, how to identify it when you see it, and going from there. That's what I've learned from the investors that I've come in contact with and I've brought on the show and sat in their meetings. These are the things that I've learned from them in terms of investing.
So let's bring it back to this particular podcast, Get Your Fill, Financial Independence and Long Life. And
yes, I love the title. I'm telling you, I need all of that.
So as a person, and I'm speaking about myself, who is over 50, who is not yet financially independent, using real estate as a method to get to a point where you have a passive income and you can stop working and have fun. But there's that instinct, or that maybe fear, I guess, that you've started too late, like, oh, I wish I would have done this when I was 20 years old. And, what kind of advice would you give to a person like me?
Well, it's the same advice I give to myself. So I'm over 50 as well. And it is that it is not too late. It is never too late to start. You just have to start. And even going into 2019, over the past, 11 years, I've had highs and I've had lows. But I was recently at one of our real estate boards gala events where they were presenting awards, and I watched the people come across the stage in the 3 million category, 5 million category, 10 million category, 30 million category. Some were teams, some were individuals, and just seeing, despite what we hear on the news about the real estate market, there is money to be made in all different avenues of real estate. And so if these people got these awards with what they did last year, that means all of those properties were available last year. And it's up to you in terms of what you want to make in it. Now, my guest for the Successful Women Real Estate Agent said that one of the things that um, really contributed to her growth and success in real estate is having systems in place. And I think sometimes as agents new coming into the business, you're looking for that just happy-go-lucky, I can just do what I want, and and nobody, I own my own day now because I'm in real estate. No, no, no. When you're in the regular world, the 9 to 5 world, you have so much of your schedule that is externally imposed on you. But when you're in the real estate industry, you now have to operate at a higher level of freedom, and that comes with the responsibility to structure your environment and your schedule to make you the most effective that you can be at what you're doing. And that's a key piece that sometimes we may miss. But if we want to have that consistent income, those consistent results, we do have to have those systems in place where we're going to get up and do in the morning, who we're going to call, how we're going to call. Are we going to follow up with those great contacts we saw at the networking event 2 nights ago? Have we called them yet? Did we follow up? We had such a great connection, but then we don't call them. So doing all of the things that you need to do, but it is not too late. And I would say for real estate, it's one of the few businesses that you can get into without a degree and really soar. The sky is the limit for you. I know single people, couples, that are crushing it, are doing great. So, girl, your retirement is in the making right now.
Amen.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
Is real estate investing part of your retirement plan?
It is. It is. And I'm actually, I've got a couple of the groups that I have my eye on. I'm really, really thinking about a turnkey property for 2019. Because as you know, I'm in Maryland, so Baltimore is booming in terms of real estate development, and there's a lot of properties there. And so I'm really looking to maybe get a couple of properties there as I'm learning, the business. But also being near DC, of course, the cost for multi-unit properties in the DC area is costly now compared to what I've watched it probably quadruple in the past maybe 5 or 6 years. That may or may not change, but there are other places where multi-units are maybe more within my reach for now. But yeah, it's definitely part of my plan for this year. Even if I don't acquire exactly what I want this year, the focus is there, and that was the key thing, because you got to give yourself permission. You got to say, you know what, I want this, and I'm not going to hold back on getting it. I'm going to go for it. And so if I don't get it, it's not because I wasn't putting all that I could towards it. And if I don't get it, I'm going to look at it and say, okay, well, what was I missing? What do I need to add to it? And just to be unrestrained in what you want. Don't be ashamed to go for what you want, because sometimes we are, and sometimes as women we are, because, when we're aggressive, that people tell us that's not a good look. When we are adamant about what we want and going for it, sometimes that's a challenge for other people. But you know what, you can't worry about that. You gotta go for the thing that's in your heart, and and make it happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Lisa, what should I have asked you that I failed to ask you? And what else do you want to share?
I think that when you're looking at real estate investing, it's not just a win for you, but when you are doing real estate investing in a community, it's a way for you to give into that community, because if you're getting a property that's not providing housing now, and you fix it up, or you buy it with someone else that's fixed it up and made it a turnkey property for you, you are investing in that community. You're providing some stability. You're providing some housing in that community. And so it serves a dual purpose. So you're winning for your family through the investment in yourself, but you're also winning for the community. And so that's that's an important piece to remember, because we want strong communities.
Mhm.
So how can we do that? And so, yes, we invest philanthropically in different things in our communities, but if we're investing in housing, then we're also investing in making strong communities, and providing a very much needed um, uh, niche for people.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to look at it as well, because I don't know that we all, think about the other end, that you are actually giving. If you have a nice place and you keep it nice and take good care of your tenants, then you are providing a service. You're not like the slumlord. That's what maybe we think about. Oh, I'm
That's
going to be a
true.
slumlord.
No, and it's true, because I can tell you, with my clients that have looked at multi-unit properties, I've gone into many of them where maybe the person couldn't afford to move, but the property was in such a dilapidated state, and it could be that the landlord wasn't able to do so. Maybe they had a life event, but when you can go in and you can make that change and make that difference, and you're providing good housing, that's something that you can be proud of. Now, one thing I did want to mention, for the turnkey products, if you're looking in the Baltimore area, there is a group that I work with called Turnkey DMV. We've had them on the show. You can go to our show page, Real Estate Talk with Lisa. You'll see all our archive show. You'll see our new shows. And there's a lot of information there. And there's a piece on Turnkey DMV, but they're doing tremendous work in the Baltimore area. And what they're doing, because you have lead paint.
Yeah.
So what they go in and do, they replace the pipes, the HVAC system. They do all of the interior work, and they get it lead-free certified. So you have an actual certificate, and then they work with there's about 14 different subsidized housing programs
Hmm.
in Baltimore City, and so they work with them to install a subsidized tenant there. So they're meeting the need of the people that are using those programs, and then when they pass it on to you, they try to leave a little bit of equity there. So you got a little bit of equity. You've got passive income. You've got probably a minimum 2-year lease for your tenant. You know that the work's been done on the property, so you don't have that fear of, I got to do repairs right away. So it's a nice product, and they've been good. They run good meetings. They interface with other real estate groups, because they'll bring other people in to
Hmm.
talk about different. If they had a lead guy come in and talk about why you needed to get it certified, why you needed the testing, what happens when you don't, what happens when you go to court. Those are things that you need to know as an investor, because if you are buying a property that was, pre 1978, and you don't know these things, you could open yourself up to a lawsuit by someone and not even know, and end your investing career right when you start. And that's one of the things with Turnkey. They say, we take the risk, and so that you don't have to, because when you're new, you don't know, and so you don't make a $40,000 error in the beginning. We take some of that away from you. So if it's okay, I wanted to give a phone number out for them. Is
Yeah,
that all right?
absolutely.
Okay, you can reach Lola Thompson at 240-244-6422. Again, that's 240-244-6422. And they have a website. It's bit.ly/Baltimore Turnkey, and they'll give you a lot of information about that. And I don't mind sharing them, because they do a great job. They work together as a team. They have a meetup, and it's just really good. They've been on our show, and they're not the only group. So I would encourage your audience that in whatever area that they're in, if they're interested in real estate investing, get involved in the local scene. Get to know who the people are. And not every meetup group leader is going to resonate with you, but the person that resonates with your personality type, that you think you could learn from, that's who you follow.
Hmm.
And you don't have to invest a gazillion dollars. Get get the, whatever the lower price training is if you want, and get your feet wet. And as you see what you need and what you don't need, then you can decide what type of investment that you want to have. But I believe it's a great way for all of us, especially as you mentioned earlier, all of us that may be on the other side of 50. I'm not going to say how far, how many miles on the other side of 50 I am. But to be able to kind of pad our retirement and not necessarily, be dependent on Social Security or a pension, but have something else to depend on, and then also have something to have in our family to pass on.
Absolutely. That's one of the beautiful things about real estate is it's a legacy. It's a
Yes,
legacy.
exactly. That's right.
How about you? Now, I'm in the Boston area and it's extremely expensive to get started as an investor here, but it sounded like you have maybe some lower priced opportunities in the Baltimore area. How can people get in touch with you?
Okay, you can reach me at phone is probably the easiest. 301-542-5168. Again, that's 301-542-5168. That's my cell. And of course, in Maryland, you give your cell, you got to give your office number. So my office number is 301-794-9400. I'm with Fairfax Realty Elite in Greenbelt, and I am part of a team that serves DC, Virginia, and Maryland. I think with our team, we probably have a little over 30 years experience combined. Our focus is on integrity and really giving, that over-the-top customer service to get our people served and get you what you need and get you into what you need and advise you well. So you can reach out to me, and if you're interested in Baltimore, like I said, people from New York that are interested in Baltimore. It's really up and coming. There are different funds now available for investment in Baltimore. So definitely reach out to me, and I'll be happy to help you with whatever you're looking for.
And you can help them set it up as a turnkey so that they could do it.
Oh, yes. Oh yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Lisa, thank you so much. This has been wonderful. I've learned a lot speaking with you, and it's been a pleasure.
But you make it really easy. You make it really, really easy. And I really thank you for the opportunity to share on your podcast. And, I think it's really important that we share things with each other. And for the common good. It doesn't always have to be competitive, because we can all win. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of real estate out here. And the fact that you are the focus of your podcast is a much needed focus. And it's an encouragement to people at a time when you turn on the news, it's always the bad news. And the worse the news is, the more times they repeat it. And so you begin to feel like that's the only news. So to have something out here that people can listen to that will encourage them to move forward, I really applaud your efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lisa. You're doing the same on your end. And the benefit of that is people get to see your smiling face on your show.
I know, girl. It's like, I got to remember the camera's on. Okay. Is it on? Okay, let me smile. Thank you again for having me.
Thank you so much. I hope we can meet up when I'm in Washington in May. I'll look you up.
Industry Day? Are you coming to Industry Day?
I don't know. It depends on I have a committee meeting, I think, on the Wednesday, because I'm part of the diversity committee, and we have a meeting on, I think, the Wednesday, but the whole rest of the time I'm free for the NAR conference or whatever it is.
Okay, very good. Just let me know.
All right, good. Excellent.
All right, my dear. Thank you so much.
Lisa. Enjoy the day.
I do too.
And bye-bye.